That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.
Hi everyone, this is not an episode of Comic Reviews. This is an episode of Trade Talk. I had just a hell of a night on Comic Reviews last week, unfortunately, and so I didn't get to finish Trade Talk. I got just like a minute or so into it, and then chaos. So I'm finishing that up now. Just be posted a couple days early. That being said, Trade Talk this week is on Miss Marvel, Volume 2, Generation Y. So there's kind of a funny story behind this. I can't remember if I told it in the first volume, but for Christmas, two of my YouTubing friends, Simeon Scott and the Real Manos, aka Jessica Stelly, sent me some comics as a gift, some trades, and they both sent me Volume 1 of Miss Marvel, so it's kind of funny, but luckily I was able to trade that volume in, and I knew where I could get Volume 2 on the cheap, and so I was able to. So it was a neat little way to get two volumes of this series together. So this volume continues the adventures of Kamala Khan. The end of the first volume, we kind of set her up as, she's in Jersey, she's just starting this superhero thing out, and she's working on trying to figure out who this New Jersey bad guy is. Guy calls himself the Inventor. And he's apparently like a clone of Thomas Edison, but he has the face and similar anatomy of a bird. He got like bird DNA in his test tube while he was growing. I am not a bird. He's very sensitive about it. But the stuff for me that really sticks out about Miss Marvel, and I think the reason why she's become such a popular character for people, is just how real she feels, how human she feels, which is kind of what Marvel's always been known for, is the much more grounded, much more relatable characters. And so the thing that I like about this book is the previous volume made a really big deal about Kamala being in trouble with her parents because she was sneaking out, and she's doing it for superhero reasons, mostly. She sneaks out for a party the first time, but she's doing it for superhero reasons now, and it's causing her a lot of grief with her parents. So they insist that she go to their mosque and talk to their sheikh, I believe the word is. And I just really like this conversation that they have together. So I'm going to read that out loud. Forgive me in advance for mispronouncing some of the words here. Sister Kamala Khan, please sit. Your father says you've been sneaking out and acting strangely. Can we just get to the part where I say I'm sorry and skip the rest? No, we cannot, because if something is wrong, I need to know about it. Nothing's wrong, it's not like that, I don't want to lie, but I'm afraid you wouldn't believe me. Try me. I help people. You help people. Yeah, sometimes people get into bigger trouble than they know how to get out of, so I help. Not very well, which is why I end up breaking curfew. What are you not telling me? Nothing. Nothing I can't not tell you. I don't mean to disobey Abu and Nami, her parents. It's just that sometimes I have to in order to do the right thing. I see. If you're not very good at it, helping people, that is, perhaps what you need is a teacher. A teacher? But you're not going to tell me to be a good girl, focus on my studies, and do the istighfar? Istighfar sounds right. Repentance is what it's translated as. Or something. If I told you that, you'd ignore me. I know how headstrong you are. So instead I will tell you to do what you are doing with as much honor and skill as you can. I can't believe it. I thought you were going to warn me about Satan and boys. I have been giving youth lectures at this mosque for 10 years. If I still have to warn you about Satan and boys, I should lose my job. I am asking you for something much more difficult. If you insist on pursuing this thing you will not tell me about, do it with the qualities befitting an upright young woman. Courage, strength, honesty, compassion, and self-respect. Do we have a deal? Yeah, I mean, yes, Hazrat Shabib. Thank you, Hazrat Shabib. But about finding a teacher, how am I supposed to find someone to teach me how to, be better at helping? As the ancient saying goes, when the student is ready. I really like that scene. One of the scenes in the first volume that really stood out to me was this kind of microaggression bully girl that Kamala and her friend were running into. I believe her name is Zoe. And she said, like, I'm trying to remember the exact wording, but it was, oh, the headscarf looks so good on you, unless someone's forcing you to wear it. Like, this just really undercutting of, like, oh, that's nice, but is it like this thing? And it's just, I feel that G. Will Wilson really does get at the heart of a thing, which is the othering of the Muslim community in America. We have this idea of openness and respect for other religions. At its worst, it's called tolerance, which just sounds awful. But we do kind of judge it, and so we're tolerant of the idea of mosques in this country to some extent, not really, but I'll give it a bone. But we still have a popular perception of what they are like, and the idea that a sheik, yeah, I think that's the word. Forgive me again if I'm screwing it up. It's been a couple days since I've read this. It's been almost a week since I read this, actually. But the idea that a sheik would be compassionate, would be understanding, would be encouraging, seems bizarre. But the fact is, it's not, because if you put this in a Christian church or something, that's a perfectly normal scene. It's kind of funny to compare like that with Daredevil in a Catholic confessional. It's really, a lot of it's the same thing we've seen. It's just we've never seen it done, at least popularly, with characters who are Muslim. And so just, it has a heart, it has a relatability, it has this like, see, do you get it now? Kind of feeling to it that just makes it good, makes it connect with people, and it kind of shows you an insight into their world. So Kamala kind of goes off on an adventure to try to hunt down the inventor guy, and ends up stumbling into a trap he set for her with crocodiles with frickin' projectors on their heads. Couldn't resist, sorry. And then it's in this little trap that she runs into Wolverine, and as the saying goes, when the student is ready. So Wolverine kind of shows her a little bit of the ropes of how to be a superhero, and it's just a really cool little story. I love this cover that was in between the chapters for issue number 7. That was great. It's just this cool little chapter as they kind of work through this situation with like giant crocodiles in the sewers of New Jersey and stuff, and they're just getting deeper into it, and he gives her advice and like kind of teaches her some lessons throughout, so it's kind of cool. They end up finding, and this is kind of the plot element that carries through for the rest of the volume, they end up finding this mutant girl that Wolverine was looking for, and she's been plugged into this machine that's operating all of these death traps and such that they've been running into. And that's kind of the heart of what this volume is. That gets to the heart of what this volume is called, because as Kamala continues to investigate things, she finds out about her own origins a bit, that she's got her powers from being an Inhuman, so the Inhumans send Lockjaw to go kind of look after her. And as she investigates this mystery of the teenagers hooked up to the machines like batteries in the Matrix, she finds that the inventor has been kind of creating a cult of young teenagers who've been told that they're worthless their whole lives, and that they're destroying everything, and that they have no future. He's convincing them that they need to take drastic steps to save the Earth for those that can still live in it. And so he's convinced them to become batteries and machines. He's convinced them to become a grid. And so Kamala has to kind of like break them of this, and there's all kinds of drama in the process because the inventor is getting closer and figuring out who she is. So like her school's attacked, and she has to deal with how to stop that without giving her away her identity and all this other stuff. But I really like the idea that the human batteries kind of present here of, you know, you're a generation of waste, you're a generation without purpose, and this kind of shows like the danger that rhetoric can have to kids, because it doesn't matter if something's a lie. If you hear it enough times, you start to believe it. And so I really, really appreciated it in that regard. So the series kind of goes on, and she's got to work and think and kind of get her way through to the inventor and try to save the kids. And ultimately, a lesson here that I really, really like is she learns she can't really do it all on her own. Lockjaw gets captured at one point. She has to get help from the kids she's trying to de-induct from this cult. And finally, when she is up against the inventor, she's pretty much beaten. The way she survives is to call in the police, so they can break down the doors and just overwhelm the bastard. I mean, it's a little more complicated than that. She's like caught in a machine. There's a lot of details to it, but the end of the day, she has to learn that she can't do it all on her own. She like even remarks why this must be why superheroes team up all the time. And I thought that was really cool because, you know, like her heroes are superheroes, so that was a pretty neat idea. The inventor, in his folly, doesn't realize that his machinery is collapsing, and he appears to die under the rubble of it. I really like this panel right here where it's the word crash is spelled out in the wreckage, or for the sound effect. I thought that was cool. Anyway, yeah, so Kamala learns like a cool lesson, and we set up a future villain who was the inventor's side, assistant, lackey kind of thing. And I don't know, I really did enjoy this. It's got a cool message to it that I thought was very, very impactful. Yeah, the future is kind of in a starry state, and we do need to take action, but, you know, throwing ourselves under the bus isn't a way to do it. As far as the art goes in this volume, it's split up mostly between two artists, I believe. Let's see here. We got Jacob Wyatt does issues 6 and 7, and Adrian Alphona does issues 8 to 11. And it's funny, I think I like a lot of what's going on in 6 and 7 more. Because it's got all the Wolverine stuff, and I did think that was really cool. But at the same time, I didn't quite like the art style here. I found this kind of like layout of the trade interesting because it kind of highlighted something that I didn't care for about the art. So over here is the interior art, and this is Kamala. I don't know, just something about her doesn't work for me. Maybe it's the coloring, which of course wouldn't be the penciler's fault, but still, the art in total, something about here didn't work for me because I just didn't like the coloring of her skin. Whereas here on the cover, I really, really liked just the intense detail on, giving her very apparently brown skin. She can't, pass for anything else there. I thought that was really good. And I really like the look and the composition here. The cover page here looks a lot more fun and cheery. This looks maybe a little more typical superhero kind of stuff. And for the tone of the book, the fun kind of being a superhero is cool, but still hard is just more up my alley. Kind of feel like I'm reading, original like high school Spider-Man stuff. But then when we shift art into the later issues, the tone just works a lot better for me here. Like this 2-page spread of Lockjaw running to go find Kamala because he's supposed to look after her, and just the look on her face as soon as she sees him and meets him. Everyone else is freaked out, but she's just instantly adores the thing. This panel of her hugging Big Dumb Thing's head is just absolutely adorable. Vibrant personality, lots of fun. She immediately just takes the dog home. I feel like I'm reading incorrect Marvel tweets. So this stuff just really worked for me, and there's just a lot. Like, I like the detail in this a lot more too. It's got like a very just different style, and it just feels a lot more fun. Less flat too, which was cool. There was another panel I saw while I was flipping through here earlier that I really, really liked, and I thought just looked great. But you just flip through it, and there's like some great stuff. Like, I like this again to draw parallels to the classic Spider-Man stuff. This kind of does look like that panel of Peter trapped underneath all the rubble, and he has to lift it on his own. You keep going here. I gotta find it. That's cool as shit. With her being such a superhero fangirl, I thought that was a really cool excuse to get her in all the other Marvel character garb. I thought that was pretty fun. This panel on her face when she wakes up and gets told she's an Inhuman. I thought that was great. I really, really liked that one. There's an intense detail. There's this what kind of look on her face. Let's look at Inhuman. Yeah, is what she's saying in confusion there. I really, really do dig that one. That's a great panel right there. Otherwise, I thought this was a really good volume. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick up more. I might if I can just, I go to like half-price books and stuff all the time. And I just might have to keep an eye out for it, see if I can find future volumes. Not 100% that I will, but I did enjoy it, and so it's definitely something I would consider reading more of, if nothing else. It's just I got that. See that stack of books on top of that long box there that my thumb's going over? That's all the trades I have to talk about on this show. Lots of stuff there. Really good series though. I can instantly see why people kind of had fallen in love with it to the degree they have. So I want to say thanks again to Manos and Simeon Scott for sending me the first volume of Miss Marvel each and allowing me the chance to go get volume 2 in such a manner. Everyone, thanks for coming to this special live broadcast of Trade Talk. I'm doing a video with Ruben next week that's going to kind of take up my set-aside time for reading a trade over the weekend, but I'll be sure to leave a link or a shout-out video to that or something when that's posted, because he and I are going to do kind of like a weird co-op review thing on his channel instead. Everyone, thanks very much for watching. Until next time, bye!